Welcome out to the best in sports. Tim Johnson, Ken Link with you on a Wednesday. Ken, we are live on WCSL in Cherryville, 1590 AM. How you doing today, Ken?
Doing fine. Glad to be back with you today. We've got a lot of sports to talk about locally and nationally.
That's right, Ken. Got a lot of baseball we're going to talk about, too. Got some Major League Baseball as well as high school.
Yeah, let's talk about high school first. We had a lot of Easter tournaments going on this week. Started Monday, and one in the local area was the Gaston County Easter tournament, which is still going on. It started Monday. We'll finish up tomorrow. A lot of local teams in it. The championship game will be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and we got the Cherryville Ironmen in the game against North Gaston for the championship.
And I was listening earlier today, Ken, to some people that were talking about the Cherryville game. They said they've already played North Gaston and beat them twice already this season.
Well, North Gaston's got a good team.
They do. They got some good pitching.
Yes, they
hitting
do.
as well.
Cherryville has breezed through the first two games. They won the first game 1-0 against
Bedford City,
which was the closest game. Then they beat East Gaston 10-4, and they haven't used up that much pitching, which is good when you get to the game here with the pitch count. I think everybody's available except one pitcher.
Right. A lot of times, coaches, what they do is during tournaments like this, they'll use a lot of their young pitching to get them ready for the playoffs. I know Coach Chapman used to do that all the time with his pitching staff as well.
Yeah, and Noah Aker, their ace, I think he pitched a couple guys at the end of the other game, and he's available, as well as Walker, McSwain, Jackson. I think everybody's available except Emery, who pitched 85 pitches in the first game against Bessemer City. So we'll see. That's two good teams playing each other, and we'll see how it turns out.
We'll pull it for the Ironman. I mean, they play, I think, at 7 o'clock. Is that it on tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night at 7 will be the championship game. There's some other games before that that's for like 5th place, 6th place, 3rd place, those kind of things.
And we're covering it live here on WCSL. So
yes.
Any of you Cherryville folks out there, if you want to, if you're not being able to go to the game, you can catch it right here on WCSL 1590. 1590. That is on Cherryville Station here on WCSL. So carrying all the Cherryville Ironman baseball games as well as football too.
That's correct. We had a few other local teams in Easter tournaments around the area. Over in there's a Mooresville tournament going on that Lincoln Charter has been involved in.
How they doing, Ken?
And they've done well. They've won the first two games, and they're playing Hickory Ridge tonight in the championship game, it looks like.
That game's probably going to be rained out tonight, I would think.
It could be. And, there's a lot of activity. If it's going on tonight, it's going to be impacted by the weather. But Lincoln Charter defeated Cox Mill 9-1 in the first game, and the next night they beat Concord 8-4. And Hickory Ridge has defeated Cox Mill 9-8 and Mooresville 6-3. So Lincoln Charter's doing well. I'm impressed by how well they're playing.
Well, they got some good pitching. They got Whitley over there, so he's pitching the ball really good. He's going to Presbyterian College to play baseball, and so I know that his parents, Brad and Patrid Whitley, good friends of mine. They're awfully excited about their son going to Presbyterian. That's also a good education school too, Ken. It's a D1 school too.
Yeah. Myrtle Beach tournament. East Lincoln went down there to participate, and they're playing some teams out of state. There's some teams down there from Ohio and some teams down there from New York. And East Lincoln won the first game they had down there. They defeated a team from Holly, New York, 16-2, and they lost their next game against a team from Akron, Ohio. And it looks like they're lined up to play Liverpool, New York today, weather permitting, and Columbus, Ohio tomorrow. So this looks like a round-robin type thing of teams from the different areas. So that's
and they play there all the time. And they go down to the beach and play every year. And I talked to the coach one time, Mattil, and he said they do a big fundraiser to help the kids and the families and stuff like that to go down, which I think is a great thing. Also, Ken, I saw where Maiden's playing at Myrtle Beach too. Maiden is down there as well. So.
Didn't realize that.
Yep, I saw that in the paper, and I think they won their first game, Ken. I'm pretty sure they did. I'm not sure who they played, but I know the first game they won, and I don't know who they played the second game, but I know they did pretty well from my understanding. And also, we have the Catawba Valley Easter Tournament where West Lincoln's playing in it, and Ken, looks like they beat Alexander Central High School. Or no, I'm sorry, they lost to Alexander Central High School 8-2, but they defeated High Brighton 10-4.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's tournaments up there at Hickory Fairgrounds, Legion Field, and I understand West Lincoln been in that tournament for the last several years, several times, and they're playing up there. So.
In Hickory, I think Hickory's a team to beat, from what I understand. And St. Stephen's too. So. And they're playing in a championship game. I think those two are.
So it's good. I mean, all the teams in our area haven't been involved in Easter tournaments, but it's good for those who have. It's good experience to get out of the conference a little while, maybe even try some different pitchers, and then get back to conference play, which we're only looking at maybe 4 or 5 more games left in conference play after these Easter tournaments for most of these teams.
Now, Ken, was it last week? Was it last Friday night when Highland Tech played Cherryville?
Played Cherryville in a
or
game.
Thursday? Was it Thursday night?
No, I think it was
It's either Thursday or Friday.
Thursday or Friday, late last week. They played over at Cherryville.
And Highland Tech played a sensational game.
They had their ace on the mound, Taylor Hughes, who shut Cherryville out for 7 2/3. There's no runs scored through 7 innings. They went to extra innings, and in the top of the 8th, Highland Tech broke through. Crocker had a 2-run double to put them up 2-0, and it's sort of a heartbreaker because Hughes got the first 2 guys in the bottom of the 7th. Had 2 strikes on the next guy, walked him, and the next guy come up, he walked him, but the problem was he hit his pitch count of 105. They had to take him out.
But he continues to pitch to the batter who's in the box regardless.
Yeah, he hit the 105 count in that last batter, and so he could finish against that hitter.
Right.
But then they had to pull him. So now you got 2-0. Got the tying runs on base, first and second. So they brought a reliever in who had trouble finding a plate and proceeded to walk the next 3 hitters, walking in 2 runs, the tightest game, 2-2.
And Cherryville won it in what, 11 innings?
Went 11 innings, and finally
game.
McSwain got a big hit in the bottom of the 11th and won it for Cherryville 3-2. But it was interesting. I want to see how the Hughes kids get against Cherryville. He was outstanding. He shut them down.
And Cherryville's pitching was by committee, is that right?
By committee, and they pitched well. And Cherryville's done really well pitching by committee this year. When they lost Tyler Sanders to an injury, who was a key pitcher for him last year, and I understand he was injured during basketball season, and so they didn't have him. So they got Aker and some other guys, and they've been doing a great job pitching wise. And as I said, their pitching looks in good shape to play this game against North Gadsden.
That's great news, Ken. Looks like our Cherryville Ironman's going to be in the championship game. They play tomorrow night, and we'll be covering it live here on WCSL, 1590 AM, Cherryville Station. So if you're not going to the game, tune in to us.
Yes.
Milton Baker will be carrying that game. I'm pretty sure Milton is.
Milton, and I'm sure his sidekick, Mr. Aker there.
Mr. Aker, yep.
Noah's grandson pitches for him.
They
and,
do a great job.
Bring the game to you. 7 o'clock is the start time of that game.
Absolutely. And Ken, we got some big news of one of our local baseball players who's at CVCC. He went to West Lincoln High School product, and we're talking about Mr. Chandler Jenkins, who also played at Post 100 American Legion for Coach Reynolds. Chandler signed with East Carolina, the Pirates, today on a scholarship, and I know Chandler well. He's like a son. And I'm awfully proud of him, Ken. I know you know him well too.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that. He's had a tremendous year up at Catawba Valley Community College. Understand he's got double-digit home runs. He's hit well all year and been consistent all year long, and looked like he's deserving, and he's getting his opportunity.
He's doing well, and I know my son Alec called me today around lunchtime and said Chandler just signed with East Carolina. Said he's hit 14 home runs, Ken, this year. 14 home runs. And he's 1 home run shy of breaking the record, and he's got 3 weeks left.
Wow, he's raking it. That's what it sounds like.
I'm telling you,
to
man.
me. He's doing it. So.
Yeah, he's done that his whole entire career, even through high school as well as travel ball, showcase ball. the kid's always been known to hit the baseball.
Well, that's his ticket. I know he pitched some, but his ticket's hitting the baseball.
And he originally went to Gardner-Webb. He went there for 1 year, and then he transferred to CVCC up there, and so he's been outstanding as a young man and as a baseball player, and we're so proud of him here at WCSL 1590 here in Cherville. So a lot of great sports for you today, Ken. Got some Major League Baseball, a little bit about Major League Baseball. We're going to talk a little bit. And also, we're supposed to have a special guest be calling here soon, Ken. So
that sounds good. Just to quickly go over the maybe a couple standings in the local area. The 1A Athletic, Cherville still leads that conference with a 12-1 conference record. Lincoln Charter is second with a 12-2 conference record, and Highland Tech, after that tough loss to Cherville, with a 10-3 conference record. If they could have pulled it out, you would have had a three-way logjam there with everybody with 2 losses, but couldn't quite do it. Those teams are done playing each other. I don't see them losing to any other teams in the league for the rest of it. So that's probably the way it's going to finish. Cherville first, Lincoln Charter second, and Highland Tech third. And
I guarantee the coaches are getting them teams ready for the playoffs, Ken.
Oh, yeah.
All three of these teams will make a good run, deep run into playoffs. And more likely, they'll probably, somewhere down the line, they'll have to face each other more likely.
Yeah. They keep winning, they'll run into each other. And it's unfortunate, but that if you got several good teams coming out the same area, eventually you're going to knock heads in the playoffs.
In the SD7 2A bracket, you got East Lincoln on top, Ken. They're 13-6 and 10-2. You got West Caldwell, who's 8-10, 8-4 in conference. Bunker Hill 12-8, 7-5. Maiden's 9-7, 7-5. You got Lincolnton 7-10, 6-6. And you have West Lincoln, and I can't remember when West Lincoln has been at the very bottom, Ken. I tell you.
Yeah, well, there's 6. I mean, I didn't list.
They've always.
Newton, Conover, and Bandy's who are below these top 6. But West Lincoln was right in there fighting for that 3rd, 4th, 5th spot, and they've dropped all the way down to 6th.
Yeah, they're having a problem putting some runs on the board, Ken. They've got pretty decent pitching, and also their defense is pretty good, too. I mean, they got the leadership in Parker Chapman. Parker's a great young man. Dalton Brooks and Dallas Bridges. They just need a little bit more. They're young. They're young kids. Yeah. They got a young team. Yeah. So I know Chapman's he'll have them ready for playoffs. I promise you that.
Yeah. North Lincoln, they had a doubleheader with Lincoln last week, and in the afternoon, and 2 close games. North Lincoln won them both. One was 4-2, and one was 3-2. But Lincoln's made a pretty good showing this year. One of the best showings they've had, I think, in recent years within the conference.
Lincolnton, I tell you, they've got 2 of the best ball players in the conference. They got Robbie Cowie, who is an outstanding baseball player and basketball player, and Lane Hoover. So they're putting some pieces around those 2 kids, Ken, and they're getting some production out of the younger kids too.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit of support from the other guys on the team, and it's good to see it because Lincoln's been sort of down for a long time, and it's good to see them back around 500 again.
And Coach Sigmund's doing a heck of a job with those kids too. So. But all right, Ken, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back right here on WCSL, the best in sports, with Tim Johnson and Ken Link.
You are the best station.
I love the station.
Big O Country, 1590 AM, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
Hey, tune up for NASCAR on Sundays with our own home of NASCAR stars, Hickory Motor Speedway in Hickory on Route 70. Yes, home of the past and present NASCAR stars, Hickory Motor Speedway has a great feature or two every Saturday night. Listen to WCSL or WLON Radio each week for Saturday night features at Hickory Motor Speedway. The track is fast and the prices are reasonable, so bring your friends and family each week. You'll be glad you did. Hickory Motor Speedway, Hickory.
You're invited to the biggest event of the year, the Kubota Orange Days event. Join us at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive at the Oak Grove Road, Highway 74 bypass intersection in Kings Mountain. It'll be Friday, April 21st, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. You can demo a variety of versatile Kubota tractors, mowers, utility vehicles, and more. Take advantage of special Orange Day savings and sweepstakes. Plus, talk to Kubota factory reps at the event and compare features and benefits of Kubota products. Hey, we'll see you there at Kubota, Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive, Kings Mountain.
Considering hardwood flooring for your home? Then head to Flooring America in Kings Mountain or Carpet One Interiors in Ranlow. Right now at both locations, you'll find a big selection of in-stock hardwoods on sale, priced as low as $2.99 a square foot. That's right, only $2.99 a square foot. At Flooring America, 602 Slater Street in Kings Mountain, and Carpet One Interiors in Ranlow.
It's a big day in the big city of Lincolnton for Bennett's Automotive Repair this Saturday, April 22nd. Come join us, 101.5 FM, The Boss, and WLON 1050 AM radio live this Saturday, April 22nd, 10 to 2 at the all-new location for the experts, Bennett's Automotive Repair. That's right, they're excited to have a great new location at 619 North Aspen Street, Lincolnton, across from Carolina Furniture Mart. Bennett's new shop will feature more room and expert tune-ups, alignments, brakes, oil changes, and more. Also, as new owners of Bennett's Iron Station Thunder on Water Street, you can get professional bike accessories and repairs for your motorcycle. Don't miss Bennett's Big Day live radio remote this Saturday, April 22nd, 10 to 2 at 619 North Aspen Street, Lincolnton.
Here's what's up in Cleveland, Gaston, and Lincoln counties. Brought to you by the What's Up Shopper, Big O Country, WCSL, and The Boss, WOHS and WLON. The Spindle City Bottle Club will present their spring show and sale of bottles, pottery, and related items on Saturday, May 6th from 8:30 until 12:30 p.m. It'll be held at the Bethel Baptist Church in Lake Wiley, South Carolina. Free parking, free admission, free appraisals. Tables are available for dealers. For more information, call 704-747-9078. And the Praise Temple in Dallas presents Mayfest Saturday, May 13th at their Family Worship Center on West Church Street in Dallas. It'll be held from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There'll be antiques, jewelry, homemade crafts, and concessions too. For more information, call 704-813-7952. And that's What's Up, brought to you by the What's Up Shopper, Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, and The Boss, WOHS 1390 AM, 101.5 FM, and WLON 1050 AM. For more information, go to whatsupshopper.com.
It's Bristol.
We are racing at Bristol Motor Speedway.
It's the Food City 500.
Trouble off turn 2. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. goes around. Everybody woes up. Dale Jr. now up into the door of Ty Dillon. Puts Dillon in the fence. Jimmy Johnson gets up into Benedetto. Then Almirola dives to the bottom right in front of second place Kurt Busch. Now to the outside goes Harvick. It's 3 wide off 2.
The Food City 500. Sunday, April 23rd at 1 o'clock Eastern on PRN. The Performance Racing Network.
The Food City 500 this Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock on Big O Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
More than 7.7 million American teenagers participate in high school sports every year, including about 214,000 here in North Carolina. They're all learning essential life lessons, like the importance of hard work, time management, and self-discipline. Skills that are helping them become better leaders and more active, responsible citizens. This message presented by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the North Carolina Athletic Directors Association.
Cherryville American Legion Post 100 Baseball right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia, online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
Mainly cloudy skies and cool today with periods of mainly light rain or drizzle. High temperatures this afternoon topping out around 70 degrees, give or take a degree or two. We'll see the showers ending this evening. Cloudy skies holding fast overnight, lows in the upper 50s to around 60. Tomorrow partly cloudy and warm with a slight chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. Expect a high in the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Nate Johnson in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Currently at the Big O Country Studios, it's 427.
If it's round and it rolls, M&M Tires in Shelby has it. New and used tires, too. Check with them before you buy, and you'll find you definitely will save money at M&M Tires in Shelby. You'll find all major brand names, plus they do more than tires, from brake work to an oil change to a tune-up. Just give them a call at 704-487-0044. Again, 704-487-0044 for M&M Tires. 518 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, just below Shelby High School. Open from 8 a.m. till 6:30 p.m., Monday through Saturday.
Kim Johnson is back on WCSL, the best in sports, with you today. We've been talking a lot of baseball. We want to continue talking about baseball. Get into a little bit of the Major League Baseball. The season is underway. We've had a couple weeks under our belt. Got a little bit of surprises. Some teams are not doing well at all, and others that you feel would be weak teams going in are doing pretty good. Just looking at the standings in the National League East, you got Washington Nationals on top, which is not a surprise, but you got Miami a half a game behind, the Mets a game and a half, and Atlanta, who started out very slow.
There's 2 games now, Ken.
Yeah, they're 6-7. They started out like 1-6, won their last road game, and then went home to open up their brand new stadium and won 4 in a row. They started a series with the Nationals last night and dropped a close one 3-1. So we'll see how they do. It was good to see them recover after a bad start.
I heard, Ken, that last night that Kyle Bearclaw, is that right? Kyle Bearclaw came in the 9th inning to relieve, and they had a no-hitter to Miami. Miami did have a no-hitter.
Yeah.
And he lost it in the 9th inning.
Yeah, they lost a no-hitter. They won the game, but they lost
Yes.
a no-hitter. But
Yeah.
that was some news yesterday.
They got some talent down there.
Oh, they do. They do have some talent. And Miami is playing well. A couple of their young guys, like Osuno, are really hitting the ball, and there's some of the young guys out of their system is starting to put it together a little bit. And so I think they'll make some noise in that division.
Is Washington them and Mets are team to beat?
That's going in. Those are the 2 teams.
They got pitching.
They got pitching, and Washington got some good overall talent, but they both got very good pitching. In the National League Central, Cincinnati Reds, what a surprise, sitting on top.
9-5.
9-5. Milwaukee a game and a half back. The Cubs, which 2 games back, they'll be coming.
They'll get it together.
Pittsburgh 3 games back, and St. Louis, always a good team and a great organization there. They're bringing up the rear now with only a 5-9 record.
They're a second half team. St. Louis will put it together too. So that's that might be the toughest division, in baseball. If you think about it, you got the Cubs, you got Pittsburgh, and you got St. Louis and Milwaukee. They're like you said, they're playing good this year. They're a game and a half, but Cincinnati, I'm like you, Ken. That's a surprise team right there.
Yeah, and they're playing well now. In the National League West, interesting there. You got the Colorado Rockies sitting on top of that with a 10-5 record, and Arizona sitting right there with them with 10-5 record. Colorado's been doing it surprisingly with pitching, and Arizona's been doing it with hitting. Arizona's got the best offensive team statistical-wise this year in the major leagues. So there's 2 teams that are sitting up there with a little bit of surprise. You got the Dodgers with a 7-8 record, San Francisco with only a 6-9 record, and San Diego, unfortunately, probably not going to be able to compete much. They're 5-10.
Yeah, they're probably one of the weakest teams in the National League, I'd say. San Diego
currently it looks that way.
I would think so. Now, how about the American League, Ken? You got Baltimore at 8-4, and you got New York Yankees at 9-5. And you got Boston at 9-5. Then you got Tampa Bay and Toronto. They're carrying up the bottom, but Tampa Bay is 7-8. They're 2.5 games back. But Toronto, 2-11. I'm kind of surprised there, Ken.
Terrible start for them.
Yeah.
They lost Encarnacion, who's now with another team.
Right.
And then Donaldson, their third baseman, went down with a hamstring injury, and it looks like he may not be available for a while. And they just haven't hit the ball. They haven't got good pitching, and they've dug a big hole. With a 2-11 record, there's a lot of games to be played, but as somebody once said, it can get too late early if you're not careful, and I believe it's already got too late for them early to recover.
Right. Then you got the Central. You got Detroit, who's 8-5. Chicago 7-6. You got Minnesota and Cleveland. They're 7-7. You got Kansas City 6-7. Now Kansas City, that's another team, Ken. I'm kind of surprised they're at the bottom, and I'm surprised Detroit's at the top.
Well, those are that division bunched up about as much as any of them right now.
That's pretty. That's a tough.
So we'll see how it breaks out. But right now, that seems like a very competitive division. In the American League West, we got Houston, which is not a surprise to me, sitting on top of the 9-5 record. And then you got the Angels 7-8, Oakland 6-8, Seattle 6-9, Texas 6-9. I mean 5-9. It looks like to me that Houston should be the favorite in there, and those other ones are fighting to get up there and maybe get a wild card or something. But right now, it looks like Houston is the strong team in that division.
And they're a young team too. Houston is. I mean, they've made a lot of. They've got a pretty good farm system too, and that's where your players they develop at. And Houston has really came on the last couple years.
Yeah. Just a couple details about the Braves, who we carry here on KTC Broadcasting their games, and everybody's familiar with Freddie Freeman, obviously the best hitter, the best player, but you might say that they got some no names otherwise. Turan is one of the best pitchers.
He's good.
But then they got two veterans. I'm not talking about veterans. Bartolo Colon.
Colon, yeah.
43 years old.
Yeah, still pitching.
R.A. Dickey, 42 years old. And they brought on also another veteran from Cincinnati, Brandon Phillips, in the offseason to play second base, who's an outstanding defensive player and is playing well offensively now too. Matt Kemp went out early in the season after a couple games with the injury, but I understand he's supposed to be back today, and that'll help him too, give him more punch in that lineup. So,
you think we can get Chipper back?
Not sure he can help us. It's been too long.
Ken, who's the player Marte?
Starling Marte is center fielder for the Pirates, who got suspended yesterday for 80 games for performance-enhancing drugs, so PED.
So he's done for 80.
He's
for 80
done
games.
for 80 games,
That's
and
half the
also
season.
he can come back after 80 games, but he cannot participate in post-season play if that hadn't make the playoffs. So a lot of discussion about that. He is on a long-term contract with them, and he's playing center fielder for them this year instead of McCutcheon. But we'll see how that turns out for the Pirates. Obviously, it's not going to help their season.
Well, Ken, I said Cleveland's going to win it. I picked Cleveland in the first of the year, and I said they're going to win the World Series. So I'm sticking with Cleveland. I'm riding with Cleveland. I like to see the Braves there too.
Yeah, I would too. But we'll see whether they can make enough noise to get it there.
All right, Ken. I tell you what I'm going to do, buddy. Let's take a short commercial break, and we'll be back. We got a very good friend of mine, Ken. His dad, Mark May, who played football for. All right, let's go ahead and go with him. Right, we got Luke May on the radio with us right now. Ken, the national championship, North Carolina, 2017 national champion, Mr. Luke May. Luke, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for giving me a call, and I'm very grateful to be on your show, and look forward to answering a couple questions.
All right, man. So let's go through that national championship game, Luke. You guys played Kentucky, and you were the
you mean the South Regional?
Regional. Take us a little bit through that game. The last 20 seconds of that game. Take us through that.
Yeah.
Luke.
Well, the last 20 seconds, I think one of the plays was you were passing the ball in bounds, and Kennedy found me, and I threw it deep to Justin for a layup that put us up, and then they came down and missed the shot, and Justin went to the line up 3, and he missed the front end, and they came down and hit a big shot, and Malik Monk's an incredible player, and I just really thought to myself, I just got to try to sprint down on offense and try to get up a shot or maybe get a tip in for a rebound. And Theo drove down the court and kind of hit my man a little bit and pitched it to me, and I knocked it down. So it was a great feeling, and I was very blessed to have that opportunity at the end of the game.
Well, look, it's Ken Link here. As I watched that, one thing I always notice about you when you play, you don't hesitate. If you get an open shot, you got confident to go ahead and take it, and you certainly look confident there, and just let it go, and it was true.
Yes, sir. I mean, it felt good up the hand, and I just try to get in the game and really bring positive things, and just do whatever I can to help my team win. And at that moment, it was to knock down the shot, and I'm very thankful that I could do that to help my team win.
Did you think Theo was looking for you, Luke, as he was coming down the court? I know you was waving your arms. I saw you on TV and you was waving your arms. Did you think he's actually going to pass you the ball? Did you think that was going to happen in that particular situation?
Theo's an incredible passer and does a really good job just getting other people open. And when I sprinted out, I thought he'd throw it to me early, but he kind of held it, thinking he could shoot the last shot. But luckily, he tossed it to me, and I knocked it down. So it's all behind us, and I'm glad it ended like this.
Yeah, another big play you made besides the pitch ahead to Justin Jackson was a few minutes before then. I know that you guys had a 5-second call trying to get it in bounds.
That was big.
And the next time they threw it in bounds, they found you. They found you and you threw it down there. But another big play was a scramble under the basket, and you dove in and tied folks up and got the possession for the Heels.
Yeah, it was a big play. I just saw the ball on the ground and kind of dove for it. Coach always preaches first to the floor, and luckily I got a handle on that. But I wouldn't have been able to dive on the floor for the ball if Theo hadn't been knocked out of his hands. And Bam Adebayo is a great player as well, and luckily we stripped him and we got the possession. So that was a big time play by Theo and everybody else.
What impressed me with this team is how well y'all played in the tournament when it got down to the last 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, it's one thing for coach to say, get stops, go down and score, but to be able to do it over a few games like that showed how tough you guys were.
Yes, sir. And we had a very, very strong team. We're very tough, and we really worked hard. We wanted to get back to where we were last year and finish the job, and that's what I felt like we did. And it was just a great run, and I'm very thankful to be around these guys every day and share that moment with them.
And one thing, Luke, a lot of people don't realize is how good of a baseball player you were. I remember the last time I think I saw you, Luke, was you was probably about 12, 13 years old, and you played for the Copperheads. And do you remember some of the kids that you played against? My son, Alec. Do you remember Josh McLean, Alexander Cougars, Josh McLean, Riley Smith?
I remember a couple guys. I vividly remember you guys had a pitcher who was a little bit taller and wore goggles.
Yeah.
And he was really, really good pitcher. He threw hard, and we always had really good battles against Alexander Cougars.
That was Max Votel. Remember Max Votel? He's with the Mets. He was with the New York Mets.
No way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I did not know that was him.
Absolutely.
I just remember he threw hard and
that was Max.
had goggles and was tough.
I tell you, Luke, we're awfully proud of you, man. And I told you, Dad, the other day, I talked to your dad before y'all went to the Final Four, and I told you, I said, Mark, I said, I tell you, man, I said, you're not the celebrity anymore in the family. I said, Luke's done got you. He started laughing. He said, man, he's been a celebrity from day one. Well, Luke, we appreciate you calling, man. And like I say, we're going to keep you. I got your number here, and we'll get with you sometime next season or something like that. Me and Ken will. And I think we're going to play some golf when you come up. Your dad and I are going to get together and play some golf. And Alec and
sounds
yourself.
Great.
And but we appreciate you calling. We appreciate your time. And
yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me on. And I apologize, I was a little late.
Sorry,
just trying to get some extra shots up.
Sorry, man.
Hey.
Well, that's Luke Maykin.
Keep working on those shots. We'll be watching.
Yes, sir.
All right, Luke. Thanks for calling, man. We'll be back after these commercials here on KTC Broadcasting, WCSL 1590 AM.
We're here from the start of your workday
on my way to work
till quitting time.
Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com. It's the annual Cherry Blossom Festival this Friday and Saturday, April 21st and 22nd. Friday night, it's the music of the entertainers. And on Saturday, the festival begins at 10 a.m. with games, inflatables, clowns, puppets, dancers, entertainment, arts, crafts, and food. Join the boss of Big O Country for our live radio reports. Brought to you by Bennett Insurance Agency in downtown Cherryville, by Farmer Tom's Produce, Highway 27 West in Lincoln, by Basic Finance on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, by M&M Tires on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, by Upchurch Garden Center on the Roy Acre Road in Cherryville, by Norman's Cafe on Highway 10 in Vail, by R&M Motors on the Dallas-Cherryville Highway, by Alray Tire on East Main Street in Cherryville, by Straps Guttering of Cherryville, by Magic Motorsports on East Main Street in Lincoln, by Dellinger's Electric on West Main Street in Cherryville, and by Weston Sales in Vail. So join us this Friday and Saturday for this year's Cherry Blossom Festival in downtown Cherryville. I'm Calvin Hastings, and I want to invite you to join the boss this Saturday, April 22nd, for the grand opening of the all-new Classic Ford Lincoln in Shelby. Yes, the name has changed, but all the great people are still there. Manager Richard Michaels invites you to come in and meet him and his staff. They are ready to serve you with all of your automotive needs. Join us for our live broadcast this Saturday, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. We'll have free Dairy Queen hot dogs, chips, and soft drinks, and register to win some great prizes. So plan right now to be there this Saturday, April 22nd, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. for the big grand opening of the all-new Classic Ford Lincoln in Shelby, 1775 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at classicfordofshelby.com.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as I count down the top 30 country hits in the USA with my co-host Josh Turner, who has 4 little boys.
Man, they bring so much joy to our life, and there's never a dull moment in our house. But right now, they're into music and baseball.
That's Josh Turner this week on Country Countdown USA.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Helton, Wednesday afternoons 1 to 4 on Big O Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com. Get to the Polaris Spring Sales event and hit the off-road with more money in your pocket. Financing is as low as 2.99% APR, and rebates go up to $2,000 on industry-leading Razors, the best-selling sportsman ATVs, and the undisputed king of the utility, the Polaris Ranger. See Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell off I-85. Online at ncfullthrottle.com.
Payne's Automotive on Davis Park Road in Gastonia is paying cash for cars. If you have a car you want to sell, any make, any model, call Payne's Automotive in Gastonia for the best deal at 704-747-1997. That's 704-747-1997, and Payne's Automotive will come and get it and pay you cash for it. And now Payne's Automotive has a complete salvage yard full of late model car parts, and their price will beat anybody else's. For expert repair on most makes and models, Payne's Automotive has a top-notch repair shop located in Gastonia at 2307 Davis Park Road. Payne's Automotive buys cars, any condition, and pays you cash, and now has a complete salvage yard. Call 704-747-1997. And now check out Hooper's Used Auto Parts at 154 Hooper Hill Road in Dallas, North Carolina. They pay top dollar for junk cars and trucks. Just call 704-922-0465 or 922-0464.
For over 100 years, the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home in Falston has been providing services to families of our community with care and compassion. And now the Stamey Funeral Home has added the Cremation Center along with a new name, the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home and Cremation Center. The Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home and Cremation Center on Highway 182 in Falston, and the Stamey Funeral Home in Cherryville, located on Dixie Street in Cherryville, serving you with care and compassion in your time of need.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Helton, Friday afternoons from 1 until 4, right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia, online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
Best in sports here for you, WCSL 1590. Tim Johnson and Ken Link. We are live here every Wednesday from 4 to 5. Want to thank all the listeners for tuning in. Want to thank Luke May from the University of North Carolina 2017 National Champions basketball team, Ken, for calling us.
Oh, yeah, it's great to talk to him, and as a North Carolina Tar Heel fan, I loved it.
All right, Ken, let's talk some NFL football. We got the draft next Thursday, Ken.
Yeah, next Thursday's been a lot of anticipation in this area. I'm sure all around the country for the NFL cities that have teams. A lot of mock drafts that happen, a lot of anticipation, but it all comes down next Thursday evening when the first round starts.
Yep, and I tell you, Ken, I was listening to the Panthers a little bit this week on the TV and stuff. They was talking about K'Wan Short. He signed a 5-year contract.
Yeah, that was great to see that.
Yep.
They had franchise tagged him, and didn't know whether they'd get the deal done or not, or he'd have to go into next year. But they got it done. And reading some of his comments, he was always wanted to be here. And I read where he told his agent listen, I want you to get me a good deal, but I don't want you to come out of there with the same kind of problem Josh Norman had.
Right.
He wanted to be a Panther.
Yeah, yeah, they wanted to keep him too. I mean, he's a big body, and you know, and the general manager there, he loves his blueprint is the same. Like we was talking about the other day, his blueprint is the same exact blueprint that the New York Giants go by, and you can't go wrong with that. I mean, put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, he wants the big guys, the hog mollies as he calls them, and that was key to sign him. And so he's in tow right before the draft, and we'll see what they do. There's been a lot of speculation what they're going to do with that 8th pick in the draft.
Are they going to go defense or offense, Ken? Call it.
That's good
right now.
Good question. I think they're going offense. I think my prediction, and it depends. I mean, they could be quarterbacks jump in there and be taken in the first 6 or 7 picks, and that could influence what falls down. There's some safeties out there. Obviously, Myles Garrett's the best graded talent in the draft as a defensive end rusher, but there's some safeties there that are really good. But I think, depending on how it falls, I think they may go after McCaffrey. Now, some people think they won't. A lot of people had him early on was mocking Fournette.
Well, that's a good football player,
Leonard Fournette, but
McCaffrey is.
But that I think that was basically just because of the way the Panthers play as far as pound the ball, physical. They need more speed on offense, and I think McCaffrey certainly brings that for them.
Well, he brings a different kind of dimension, Ken. I mean, you could split him out. I mean, I was listening to to some of the guys on ESPN, and they were talking about how he can run routes and stuff as well as the receivers can.
Yeah,
some
of the better receivers coming out of the draft, they said he was better than some of the receivers coming out, the top receivers coming out of the draft as far as route running.
Absolutely. And you got Greg Olsen, who's a tight end. If you double team Greg Olsen and you got McCaffrey in the backfield, think about this, Ken. He's on another linebacker, so ain't no linebacker going to stick McCaffrey. So if he's coming out, you know, they could do a lot with him. If Olsen's not open, they could do. I mean, they're going to double team Olsen because that's Cam's #1 receiver.
Yeah.
So if he comes out of the backfield, he's got one-on-one, Ken, and my money's on him.
Oh yeah, it's a mismatch, and he's not just here's a fast guy. He has really got some elite talent. His 3-cone speed was the best by any running back since 2003. I mean, that tells you how special he is and shifty he is and the quickness he has. He got speed, but he's also very quick.
There's a guy that was talking about McCaffrey who coached. He was at USC. I can't think of his name. He coached running backs coach for Reggie Bush, and he was talking about comparing him to McCaffrey. And he said that McCaffrey is a better running back, bet all the way around. He said he's just got more tools, and that's hard to believe when you think about Reggie Bush, what he offered. You know, so that's a great compliment right there.
And as a Panther fan, I love to see him because not only can he help you out of the backfield and run the ball, he's a great kick returner, which is a need for them.
Special teams.
So he can help them in several areas. I like a guy that brings speed that can help them in special teams as well on the offensive side of football.
We can't leave out my Cowboys. You know, and to be quite honest with you, I'm hoping Dallas, is going to get a defensive end. That's why I think they're going to go defensive end. If not, if somebody who's a safety or a cornerback, drops down, they might go there because they got some weapons on the defensive line. They just got to get them acclimated. So I'm thinking more likely they might get a cornerback or safety in the first to 28th pick. If not, defensive end, and I like Tarko Charlton, and I also like that McKinley guy out of UCLA too. He's a big defensive tackle.
This draft has a lot of good.
Harris is good.
This draft has a lot of defensive end, rushing defensive end.
Yep.
The Panthers won't get
deep
one
in defense
because they got Johnson and Peppers there, and they need a younger guy too. I just don't know that they'll go after one at 8, but second round, I look for them maybe to go for a defensive end or maybe a safety. I think safety is strong in this draft as well, so we'll see what happens. But there's some good defensive players out there. But
see, Dallas is in a predicament situation. They could be at the 28th pick, and they can have a really outstanding offensive player drop to them.
Sure.
I'd pick him.
Yeah.
I'd pick him because, like you said, the defense is deep. You deep in that draft and defense. So if they have somebody, I'm just going to guesstimate, say O.J. Howard, which he ain't going to drop that low, But just imagine if he would drop and and Dallas would get him at the 28th pit. Oh my gracious, Ken.
Well, there's one guy that they've been talking about dropping some, and I know he had some shoulder problems, but they said he's fine now. And that's Jonathan Allen, a defensive tackle.
He's pretty good.
And he's good, and he's been dropping. At one time, they had him in the top 5 or 6, and now I've seen mocks and evaluation where they're dropping him down. So we'll see. There's always some surprises as far as dropping, and there'll be some trades. I understand that the Patriots signed Malcolm Butler today, and they didn't sign him, I don't think, to keep him. Now they're going to trade him
in the draft.
And New Orleans been looking for a cornerback, so everybody thinks
they've been trying to get him, haven't they?
Yeah, but they had to sign him first before they could deal with a trade with the Saints. So I think they'll be dealing with the Saints and trying to make a move there, maybe to move up.
Next weekend, we'll highlight more on the draft since it'll be the week of the draft, and we'll highlight for the Carolina Panthers, and we'll do a little bit of Cowboys as well. There are going to be some trades, too, during this draft. So, Cleveland's got about 25 picks, seem like. They got more picks than anybody in the draft. So, don't be surprised if they don't try to trade, up. Because they're, 12? They might try to trade up to maybe 7 or 8, like we was talking about, to get a quarterback.
Yeah. The other big news on the NFL side today is Aaron Hernandez, who unfortunately was found in his jail cell dead today. Looks like he committed suicide. Sad story about how life turned out for this kid who was obviously very, very talented.
Right. And that is sad, Ken. Anytime somebody dies is a sad situation, but it's also sad for the people this guy committed.
Oh, yeah,
the murder.
absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
But anyway, Ken, that's going to wrap our show up for today. But I tell you what, I want to say a special thanks to Mr. Randy Emmon. We have a Twitter out there, and also we have a Facebook. Thanks to Randy Emmon, a good friend of mine, where we work at FedEx. He set that up in no time, Ken.
Yeah, I'm glad to do it and put our name out there a little bit and promote us. And we look forward to continuing talking sports with you as we go forward.
Absolutely. All right, I want to thank you, all the listeners out there, for tuning in to WCSL 1590, the best in sports. Myself and Tim Johnson and Ken Link.
All right, and say so long until next week. We'll be back with you at this same time on WCSL. Reminder, the Cherryville North Gaston championship game in the Gaston County Easter Tournament will be tomorrow on WCSL, 7 o'clock.
Been up since the crack of dawn, just trying to get paid. Been hotter than 100 suns, I can't find no shade. Just 2 more rows and I'm good to go. Yeah, I'm shutting this tractor down. Give me a half an hour.